Well, we start again, and I'll tell you just a little technical thing, that is, when you want to make questions or say something and participate saying something, you can come to this microphone here, and it will be translated, and it will be recorded, and everybody will hear. So I think everybody get back from the coffee break. And now we will start presenting the Kinokit. That's the basic instrument of the project. As the name says, it's a kit about cinema. We will see together what it contains, and this is let's say, the first draft, because it can be implemented during the next month of the project. As you see from the title, it is about our social-emotional learning through cinema. And it's an instrument that will be available on the site of the project for the years of the project and even later. To go a bit down, if I can. And we have a table of contents here. Let's go and see it. And then I will show you some of the cards we refer to into the Kinokit, and the list of films we selected as Laboratorio Immagine Donna, a list of 60 films that are interesting for this project, interesting for their content, interesting for how they're made. And there are only 60. We had to select 60. That's a lot, but we had to leave others away. But it's not finished. It's not a complete list, not only because we have left some away up to now, but also because you, the teachers, who participate in the project, can implement it, because teachers can work in their classes, in their class groups, with the film that they can choose from this list. They can work on the 10 cards that we have made on the base of that list. So we have another second selection of 10 films, of which we will present you the cards today. And they can, anyway, you can choose another movie, other movies to work about, because it depends on the subject you teach, on the theme you want to deepen, on the contemporary history, because many subjects can appear that today are not yet core subject, but in 3 years things can change. And so you're free of choosing among the list, among the cards already made, but you will, it's interesting if you will propose other movies. And on the basis of these models that we show you as the cards, you can compose your own cards that are not forcefully. They can be, it's like a scheme, they can be similar to the cards we make. We use the sort of a standard, but when you will see and you will compare the 10 cards, you will see there are differences already among that 10. And so you can take a model and work it as you prefer. So let's go to the table of contents of the Kinokit. And you will see what is there. Before the introduction, I have the table of contents that's supposed to be here. Here it is. It's a new computer. Ah! They always give me a new computer when I have to make public presentations. Otherwise, too easy, no? And they say it works like that, but it doesn't. Okay. It's very slow. Okay. Here it comes. So we have an introduction, and then we have guidelines for the first phase, and then we will have guidelines for the second phase. As Yuri said before, the first part is film seen up close, da vicino in Italian. Close is the name of the project, and it recalls close up, the primo piano in cinema, in photography. So to see a film close up means to analyze it deeply, to have insights in the film, to understand things that maybe in films seen quickly or in devices that are not maybe the best, but that we use every day, like iPad, phones, and computers, can be a superficial vision. While in this project, we want to have with students a more deeper understanding of what the film is saying and how it is said with the cinema language. So we will see in the first phase, together with the class groups, films. And in the second phase, we will make film together with the group. We have 2 years and a half left for doing this job. So, of course, in the first part, we have to familiarize pupils that are more used to small devices than to come to the cinema. And they view this audiovisual product that are very various. Also, in the second phase, we will not make a movie like Hollywood in the commercial Hollywoodian sense, but students can choose with you that guide them to make any sort of audiovisual product. It can be, for instance, there are beautiful films made with phones that are in festival, and they win prizes and awards. And the quality of film doesn't relate upon technical stuff we have available. The interesting part and the quality of the film is due to the content, to the meaning, to what we want to say. And of course, our themes are in the frame that we have seen: anti-violence, anti-racist, anti-sexist, anti-war as well. So in the second phase, we have guidelines for making a film. And we have, for both parts, it's like a hinge, the part of the cluster questions for collective film analysis and social emotional languages. Because when I talk about language, we think of words, okay? And then we have a referent that can be an object, and it's a material object. When I say the language of cinema, I can refer to two different referents. One is the words, and we have a glossary in the ebook that complement the Kinokit, and we'll see it later. Cinema language, we have a glossary, so we have a lot of words that we don't use in our normal language, but are useful to understand films that we see, made by someone, and useful to understand how I will make my new film as an author, as a group of authors and with their roles. So it's not just the language, but cinema language is not just names of the different kinds of scenes, sequences, takes, shots, technical instruments. It is what we see in the movie, and so it's a visual language. And this is interesting to teach, to talk about to students, because cinema language is a very broad category that can mean many different things. But if I say, this is a close-up, I have to know why the director decided to make a close-up in that scene, in that part, while the character is doing a certain thing. So the close-up, physically or digitally better, in a film, that's a language. So this is a bit of a complex idea of language, but it can be explained and practiced viewing movies. And so then you can also use the glossary that will be on the ebook as a hinge between practice and theory and practice, between the analysis. Oh, that's a long take. Oh, that's a close-up. Oh, that's a middle shot. That's a piano americano, we say in Italian. That's not translatable in English. Why? And then when you will make a movie or an audiovisual product of any kind with your class, you will decide what take, what shot to use for expressing a certain idea, event, situation, psychological situation, emotional situation. So during this exercise, a lot of emotional language comes out, both in the analysis, in the discussions that we organize and they raise anyway, after viewing a film together. And we also have to control our emotional state, because discussion can be very excited. And so we have to mediate conflicts, for instance, if they raise. And in a very, this happens in a very pleasure situation. So we also have to build and to organize friendly context, friendly relationship in the working group. And we will also go further in this issue later. So the clusters of question are clusters because they are not specific for a movie, for a certain film, but they are general and they can be adapted to any movie. So that's why in Italian we translated this grappoli di domande. That's grappoli di domande. Yeah, it's our language. And so they are, we can adapt it to any analysis. And then they will be also useful for the teaching that comes out from viewing this film. It's not a technical critical analysis as if we have to write an article for the press, but we have to go inside and discuss, for instance, racism or approach to any kind of difference, approach to violence against women or others, and all this. So we can see some part of this maybe deeper, going through the Kinokit. And in the second phase, we have to make a small film, up close, very close, because we will make it. And we will experiment directly inclusion, organizing the cinema troupe. Making a film is a work that can be made only if a troupe exists, if the group works, if there is relations of respect and trust among the members. Otherwise, the film doesn't come out. So this exercise is useful for practicing good relations, good relationship in the group. They will be authors, the students. You will be the coordinators. And if the roles are not respected, or if we put roles in a hierarchy, we don't have to hierarchize roles. We have a view in commercial cinema in which the director is a star or the protagonist is a star. Okay, we don't use that scheme in our classes. Everybody's necessary, everybody is useful as the same, and this balances the roles. We can also, we'll see later also, we go deeper in this idea of how to organize the cinema troupe, because the cinema troupe in class will be the working group. And every talent and every desire should be respected. Also every competence. So the coordination by the teacher is important, but we always will have to negotiate and to find how to make the troupe better working. So we will see how many roles we have in a cinema troupe. So the roles are many, much more than what we know if we are not into cinema. And so this is what we will call the CinemaLabs, the groups in the next year and the next second year, when the school classes or groups in association, we have also association as associated partners that will work in their environments. And the CinemaLabs will really experiment how to make a movie with this criteria of respect, equality, and peaceful relations. So the practice from analyzing a film together, going through the process of making one is tightly linked. And in both phases, we need respect and we need the desire also and to understand deeply how a film is made, and see also talking about the contents, the subject of the films, of course. Many discussion will go on what the film deals with. We can see a little bit how it is made. So we have this introduction. That is more or less what I have said now. And we have this repertory of about 60 films. We have 10 cards. We'll see now how one is made. And we have this part of the pedagogical inclusive social-emotional learning and the guidelines for the first phase, where we will see the films up close. In the ebook, you will have more insights about these phases. For instance, we suggest to go and see movies in the cinema. If the school have a cinema hall, it's perfect. But the best thing to get passionate also to cinema is to see it in a proper environment. So, for instance, as where we are today. Or anyway, of organizing good projections and preparing pupils before with some introduction and familiarization with what cinema is. Many students will get passionate to the issues, others will get passionate to the technical language and tools, and so you will see how the roles can be distributed later in the second phase. This is what I already said. Yes, about how the balance in the group. That is easier to reach if we have an objective, an aim to reach, like we will make a film, we are a troupe. This is very motivating. If in general we say, don't bore your friend, okay, this doesn't work, we are teachers, we know. But when we have to work together, this is the core issue of the film. And so, let's go and see, this is the cinema room situation that I was talking about. Even in the group discussion, we have to respect each other, otherwise we don't understand. And students are interested in cinema, so they will be available in peaceful relations. Usually they are. And yeah, well, of course we talk also, huh? We had these free discussions. Of course we can leave, we as teacher can decide a core issue to deal with, but the students can also propose their ideas and their subjects and look for a movie about that. So the teacher has to be a facilitator more than a directivist, old-fashioned teacher. Yeah, another interesting thing is that from discussions we will find many keywords will come out, and another role that's important in the phase, but also later in the first phase is more important. They will take note of the keywords that comes out, emerge from discussions, because that keywords and core issues that the students are more interested in dealing with will be our path. It is an important path. So it's important to create, since the beginning, a small group for documentation of what emerges from discussions. We keep track of this work. Also, we will ask you to make some reports on how the work is going, how it is going on, if the group is well working, if it is not, or how you solve problems that can arise. We will ask that for the project. It is requested by the project itself. And also, of course, you can enrich the Kinokit and the e-book more, because e-book is longer than the Kinokit. And also, we can put comments on the website. And so all this will enrich, your reports will enrich our job and will be shared with others, with other schools, other teachers, and will be internationally faced with. So we are still talking about the first phase with coordinators, facilitators, that is the teachers, it's us. And there are some questions here. You can ask, doesn't matter to go here and read them one by one, but you will find them on the site, on the website. So this is a sort of investigation in a group. And so, yes, you will choose, you will have to identify a collective aim with the group. They will make research and insights on that issue. Since cinema is an entanglement of different languages, and this is what I was talking just a minute before, we can work on different subjects. So someone can be more interested in dialogues, in words, in what is said in a film. Someone is more interested in decor and scenography of the film. Someone can be more interested in photography. Someone can be more interested in music. That's also a very important issue because of the emotional part that often we are not totally aware of when we see a movie, but it's so important for creating the emotion and the feeling the production wanted to communicate. The production will be the group class in our case. So we have the cluster questions for collective film analysis, and you find them here. They can regard the narrative plan, they can regard the subjects, the themes, the intention, the aims of the film. They can regard light, colors, why that scene was so blue, because it has an emotional feeling that communicates to the audience. Sound, dialogues, and we have this cluster question that can be adapted to any different movie. I have seen is there a question? No. Okay. I didn't see well. And so in the practical second film phase, we have say already what we will do. We have to give space to free choices. And the protagonism of students is important, not protagonist only as a character, but the protagonist of everybody. So, for instance, we will see now, we have to go through the decision of the subject, the screenplay, the storyboard. We will have special speech about these issues in these days. So protagonist means what I said, that we have to respect their talents, desires, their aspirations. With this organization, cinema will be an aggregating activity. We have to respect each other, and all the roles has the same importance, otherwise we will not make a good movie. This is what I have already thought about. Of course, this implies individual and collective responsibility. This is an aggregating tool for making a movie and for making maybe a better society out of school. This is what we have already said. Yeah. And so in the cinema troupe, I said that when we have to respect and perform our roles, we can go on and make a good product. Of course, we will respect in creating groups, intercultural collaboration, gender equality, and all these key points are, one of these is the self-distribution of roles. So the desire of students have to be respected as far as possible, of course. You will coordinate them. And this is the way, anyway, this is the aggregating tool. We have other possibilities. For instance, we can have a role shifting. If someone is no longer happy with the role he or she chose, they can change role. Why not? It's interesting in any case because they can experiment another activity. And this is a good instrument for widening the activity of each student. And also, they can, for instance, usually the director is one, but they can be 3, 4 directors, more than one. We have also cases in commercial cinema with more than one director. So they can decide together how to do the work, or what genre of film they want to make. But every role in the cinema troupe can be a little group role. So they will work on each component necessary for making a film. So, if we go further, this is, yes, how the CinemaLab will be organized for making an audiovisual product. We see now also the kinds of products we can make. And we have some quick tip, what to do and what not to do. You will see them. Maybe you'll go more inside. It's important to get a good information before, when we have chosen an issue. And so the research is part of the job. And we have to write a script or a storyboard before starting the shooting. We have to attribute the roles to the crew, to the team. And for documentaries, we have to choose our environment, the issue, the people who will talk. We can make interviews and show the environment where we are, that we want to document. We can interview grandparents, grandmothers. For instance, we used to make it with the Laboratorio often. And many nice information come out that young people don't know. So this is a good opportunity for transmitting also personal history. In the neighbors, to conduct investigation in the area where we live, or other areas, interesting area. And we can create many different kinds of audiovisual products. They can be poetic, they can be reportage, they can be many different kinds. They can be history, they can be taken from novels and books, the subjects, and arranged. We have example of what has already been done in some schools. So for fiction, you have a very wide range of themes and ideas. And also, as was said in the introduction, what Bronislaw Malinowski, I'm an anthropologist, by the way, and so he was calling imponderabilia what we cannot express well with words, as Silvia, I think, was saying in the introduction of the working today. All these feelings come out. Of course, these feelings and emotions has to be coordinated. We are in a safe place. We are all interested and enthusiastic of making a work like a movie, and they will be coordinated. what not to do. Don't say with words what can be said with an image. For instance, if you have a dog, don't say, "This is a dog." No, that's very bad when we see the movie. We as an audience feel like stupid. Okay, I see it as a dog. Don't tell me, please. Or this is the mistake that is called really in language, in cinema language, is called dog dog, cane cane. You don't have to say it twice. We already have the image language of cinema that is saying that. You don't have to say. Even if the expression, if I'm so sad because of something, I don't have to go and say, "Oh, how sad I am." No, I just practice a little bit as an actor and make a sad face. Or you find other cinematographic languages to express sadness, like a bit dark, the blue color, for instance, the sad color. Don't say everything that can be said with images, with the other language. Then we have another technical thing that we will see in the glossary of the override the field is the problem of campo and controcampo in Italian. In the glossary, we have tried synthetically to explain, for instance, if I talk to Maresa, or you make a two-shot frame. So you take us in the same frame, so we see that we are looking at each other. Or you have always to if you take one by one the characters speaking, don't take me on the other side, and so I talk to Maresa looking there. Doesn't work. The audience will not understand. So this is better explained in the glossary. And it's something, it's not difficult. We learn to do that. And last, if you use a mobile phone, that's an interesting thing to do. Don't use it vertical unless you want to explain that someone is looking at that thing vertically, or is calling someone or texting someone. Use it horizontal as the screen. It is better. You will make a better movie. So now this is the Kinokit we have gone through, and we have the 10 cards taken from the 60 film list, quality film list. I should always use the formula quality film because not every movie is so educating. For instance, we never choose a film that is against war, but performs and shows very violent images of war, because they are talking in this double language, entangled language of cinema. They are performing war. So emotionally, we get used to war. And that's a problem. It's not that we will solve it forever, no. But if we want to talk about peace, non-sexist stories, non-racist stories, anti-ballism stories, we don't show violent scenes because they have their own language that goes to us, our brains even unconsciously. And unless we want really to analyze it very, very deeply, saying these things I'm saying, for instance, but that's maybe in higher level classes. We also have some teachers from the university that is interested in the project. So some of the things I say, you will decide if they are appropriate for your class levels or not. You choose what to do. Also, as the 10 films, we have the card made as an example or as a tool to use. That's up to you. Is Lady Bird, The Perfect Candidate? Well, now I go through the titles. Io Rom Romantica, Then we have Wonder, about diversity, physical diversity. We have La Bicicletta Verde, that's the green bicycle, that has Vajida in the original Arab title. And we have Chiara from Susanna Nicchiarelli. And we have Entre les murs, La classe in italiano. And we have Hidden Figures, that, how is it in Italian? Is the more colored women in the States that contributed to the moon race, and without their calculation, we should not have yet reached the moon, or the Americans, not really us. And The Imitation Game. These two movies are interesting for mathematical teachers, because you can go more into the kind of calculation they should make for getting the aims they are given in the film. And we have Peel. Peel will have an example of decoupage later. It's the first film of Jane Campion. It's a short film, 8 minutes. It says so many things that you will see. We will have an approximate decoupage analysis here later in the afternoon. But you will see how much an image can say, and more, or a moving image can say. And we'll try to make attention to all the components of a film, like noises. That's in this short film that already revealed the grandiosity of the director that we will know later. We can analyze a lot of key points that we should analyze in each film we choose to analyze. And we have this, okay, this is the cards we have seen. I didn't say maybe that The Perfect Candidate and Vajida are by Haifa al-Mansour. And this is the first woman director in Saudi Arabia, and maybe the first director, not only women, but two-gender director, including all genders of director in Saudi Arabia. So this is all what you find in the Kinokit. I could show you a little bit of, we have a little bit time left. I can show you, well, we have the film list, quality film list. I just show you how it is made. So we have peel means bucce, orange peels in Italian. And we have the little storyline. We have the tags in red. Yeah, here where they are the key points of the film, if you want to choose it. We have the storyline in English and the tags, educational tags in English as well. And everybody could translate in their own languages, of course, when you choose, if you want to see the whole list or not. The genre of film, if it is a fiction or a documentary or whatever, and the age, the appropriate age. This is over 13, for instance. Some of the films are for everybody, all age, per tutti, all ages. Like Vajida, the green bicycle, like The Perfect Candidate, that is over 13. It's a bit more complicated. And so we have 60 movies presented in this form. And for instance, we have, let's see a card, how it is a card made. About Wonder is our first card. We have the genres of film and the information, basic information, credits. Then we have a trailer. Trailers are usually always available. We have the awards, because all these films are quality films that received prizes and awards. We have the tags, as we have in the list. We have a short synopsis. And then, this is the part, I stopped just a second on this editing form. In violet, can you see the color? Yes. In violet, we have the information and observations about the cinematographic language. In blue, we have the educational guidelines. So within the plot, because here the card goes on with the plot, as we see here. But within the plot, we have observation about these two kinds of different information, the cinematographic language and the suggested didactic guidelines. We are not prescriptive, of course. We are facilitators, and as you are. And during the plot of the film, in a card, we can tell you, for instance, in this case, it's interesting to know how the film Wonder starts, what cinematographic language the director and the whole troupe used for giving us some informations and some impressions and some emotions. So you have the analysis in violet of the cinematographic language chosen for introducing the film. This is the prologue of the film. We still don't know anything. We see a blue sky, starry sky. We see an astronaut that flies in the sky. We don't know. It is very emotionally impressive, this kind of starting. And then we will have a flashback, for instance. That's not the story yet. It's a flashback. And we'll realize it later that it was a flashback. So this is, of course, a complex way of making movies. There's a huge production. But these little hints, both for an analysis and both as something we learn on how to make a little hour movie, can be important, interesting. We can learn and have ideas, give ideas on how to work through making a movie. In this normal font, we have the plot. So through the plot, you will find different lines, different font that will tell you, okay, this is another kind of language. This is not the plot, this is not the story, this is the cinema language. And of course, they exist together. Then we have some observation. This is, for instance, this in blue is a guideline, or anyway, something that the teacher has to notice and maybe make to notice for the students. In this film, up to now, to this point of the story, the teachers are not very attentive to what happens. Oh, well, good to know. Even when things get worse, where are they? They're not there. They don't realize anything. This poor guy is bullied. Where are they?